In a small, poor village in a remote part of the country, a baby boy named Laxmi was born. But unlike most babies, Laxmi was born blind. The news of his blindness spread quickly throughout the village, and everyone was talking about it. The village was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other, and such news was rare and significant. Laxmi's family was already struggling to get by. They had little money, and life was tough. His father worked as a farmer, earning just enough to feed his family, while his mother did household chores and looked after the children. Now, with the birth of a blind son, they felt even more worried about the future. How would they take care of him? How would he grow up and live a normal life? The very next day after Laxmi was born, his father, overwhelmed by a sense of hopelessness and fear for his son's future, did something very sad. He dug a grave, planning to bury Laxmi alive. The thought of raising a blind child in such difficult circumstances seemed too much for him to bear. He believed that ending Laxmi's life now would spare him a lifetime of suffering and hardship. As he stood by the grave with Laxmi in his arms, ready to carry out the unthinkable, Laxmi's mother came running with tears streaming down her face. She fell to her knees and pleaded with her husband, "Please, don't do this. We can have another child. We will find a way to manage. But don't take away our son's chance at life." The father, although he was deeply conflicted, replied, "In the future, his life will be so tough. I don't want him to suffer." But when he heard the soft cooing of their baby and saw the determination in his wife's eyes, he decided to give Laxmi a chance. He filled the grave and promised his wife that they would do their best to care for their son. Years went by, and it was time for Laxmi to go to school. His parents were hopeful that he would get an education and have a better life. They saved every penny they could and bought him a uniform and school supplies. But their hearts broke when Laxmi was kicked out of school because he was blind. The school didn't have the resources or the willingness to accommodate a blind student. The principal said, "We cannot take the responsibility of teaching a blind child. It's too difficult." Laxmi's parents felt so sad and worried about the future. They didn't know what to do next. They had pinned their hopes on Laxmi getting an education, but now those hopes seemed to be dashed. However, there was a kind teacher named Ms. Amina who saw something special in Laxmi. She had heard about his situation and decided to help. She called his parents and said, "I will take care of him. He has a bright mind that deserves to be nurtured." Ms. Amina designed special books for Laxmi, with raised letters that he could feel and learn to read. She spent a lot of time teaching him in ways that he could understand. She taught him by speaking clearly and slowly, and by using touch and sound to help him learn. Under her guidance, Laxmi did very well in school. He was very smart and loved learning. He could remember everything Ms. Amina taught him and often amazed her with his quick understanding and sharp memory. Ms. Amina felt proud of Laxmi and was determined to help him succeed. When Laxmi grew older, he wanted to study science. He was fascinated by the world around him and wanted to learn how things worked. But the principal of the school said no because he was blind. This decision made Laxmi and his parents very sad and frustrated. They had hoped that after all his hard work, he would be allowed to pursue his dreams. But Laxmi was determined. He believed in himself and knew he deserved the same chances as everyone else. He told his parents, "I will not give up. I will fight for my right to study science." With the help of Ms. Amina, he decided to take the matter to court. He argued that blind people are humans too and should have equal opportunities. It was a long and tough battle. Many people thought Lakshmi was wasting his time and that he would never win. But Lakshmi never gave up. He prepared his case thoroughly, with Ms. Amina by his side, and presented his arguments passionately. Finally, he won the case. The court ruled that Lakshmi had the right to study science, and that schools must provide accommodations for blind students. This was a big victory, not just for him, but for all blind people who faced similar challenges. Lakshmi joined the science program and worked very hard. He was determined to prove that he could excel despite his blindness. His classmates were initially skeptical, but they soon saw how capable Lakshmi was. He topped his class and graduated with honors. His achievements were celebrated by his family and the entire village. However, finding a job was very difficult. Many employers did not want to hire him because he was blind. This was very disappointing for Lakshmi. Despite his excellent academic record, most companies refused to give him a chance. They thought he wouldn't be able to perform the tasks required. But Lakshmi did not lose hope. He decided to create opportunities for himself and others like him. He started looking for investors who would believe in his dream of a workplace for blind people. He faced many rejections, but he kept trying. He would go from one investor to another, explaining his vision and hoping for a positive response. After many rejections, he finally found some investors who shared his vision. They believed in Lakshmi and decided to support him. Together, they built a factory where most of the workers were blind. This factory not only provided jobs but also gave dignity and purpose to its workers. It was designed with special accommodations to ensure that blind workers could perform their tasks efficiently. The factory grew and became very successful. It produced high-quality goods, and soon, orders started pouring in from all over the country. The factory's success was a testament to the capabilities of blind workers and a message to society that everyone deserves a chance to contribute. Lakshmi didn't stop there. He realized that education was the key to a better future. He opened schools for blind children, making sure they received a good education and could follow their dreams. These schools helped blind children learn and grow, just like Lakshmi had with Ms. Amina's help. The schools had special books, trained teachers, and various tools to help blind children learn. Lakshmi's story spread far and wide. He inspired many people around the world. His journey from almost being buried alive to becoming a beacon of hope for the blind community showed that with determination and support, anything is possible. He was invited to speak at conferences and events, sharing his story and encouraging others to believe in themselves. One day, a young blind boy named Ravi came to Lakshmi's factory with his parents. They had heard about Lakshmi and wanted to meet him. Ravi was struggling with the same challenges that Lakshmi had faced. He was being kicked out of school, and his parents were worried about his future. Lakshmi welcomed them warmly. He listened to their story and shared his own journey with Ravi. He encouraged Ravi to never give up and to believe in himself. Lakshmi offered Ravi a place in one of his schools and assured his parents that Ravi would receive the education he deserved. Ravi started attending the school and, under the guidance of dedicated teachers, he began to thrive. He excelled in his studies and developed a keen interest in technology. Lakshmi took a personal interest in Ravi's progress and mentored him. He saw a lot of himself in Ravi and was determined to help him succeed. Years passed, and Ravi grew up to be a bright young man. He graduated with a degree in computer science and went on to work at a leading tech company. He developed software that made it easier for blind people to use computers and mobile devices. His work was recognized and appreciated worldwide. Lakshmi continued to expand his efforts to support the blind community. He opened more factories and schools in different parts of the country. He also established a foundation to provide scholarships and support to blind students. The foundation helped many young blind people pursue their dreams and achieve their goals. Lakshmi's efforts brought about significant changes in society's perception of blind people. Employers started to recognize the value and potential of blind workers. More and more companies began to hire blind employees and provide accommodations to help them succeed. Schools became more inclusive, ensuring that blind students received the education they deserved. Lakshmi's story was made into a book and a movie, inspiring millions of people around the world. His journey showed that no matter how tough things might seem, there is always hope and a way to make things better. Lakshmi's life was a testament to the power of perseverance, love, and the belief that every life has value. This is the story of Lakshmi, a story of courage, determination, and the power of love. It teaches us that no matter how tough things might seem, there is always hope and a way to make things better. Lakshmi's journey reminds us that we should never give up on our dreams and that every person deserves a chance to shine. Years later, as Lakshmi stood on the stage at an international conference on disability inclusion, he looked out at the audience and felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had come a long way from the baby who was almost buried alive. His journey had not been easy, but it had been worth it.